Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis, my co-host Bretty Blake. This podcast is about nightmare work stories. Everyone's got one, whether it's a psycho boss, a dreadful workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've never had any of those, chances are you're the problem.
You're the problem. And joining us today, comedian, dog owner, and awesome dinosaur impressionist, Larry Dean.
Thank you, mate.
Did I nail that?
Yeah, you did, man. I've been, for the people listening, I've been waiting for this for the past 20 minutes, man. I've been told that there was going to be an amazing introduction.
and that was it.
That was it, man. Yeah,
Man,
it was amazing.
You've seen the top of Everest, brother. How does it feel?
yeah. All three sentences, man. My ego. Oh, man, my ego, man. Oh, I'm a dog owner. Fucking, yeah.
The comedian dog owner's good, and then you do an awesome, I've seen you do a dinosaur impression on stage.
Yeah, so usually I'm people say, oh, you're the dinosaur guy. Which
They
is,
do not.
Yeah,
Do they?
some
Yeah,
people-
it's
some
pretty,
people do it,
I think it went viral or something, didn't it?
Yeah. So, and it was ages ago as well. I did it. It was like, but then people still ask for it and stuff as well.
Wow. So would you put that if someone said, "Can you just quickly describe yourself?" Would that be in there?
Yeah, Tinder
Top
bio, like. No,
Nailed it.
I usually just, I don't know. I hate those things. You know when you have to like plug your show and stuff,
Yeah.
and you have to describe what kind of comedy you do, and it's like, oh no, I don't want to become like self-aware. You feel like something bad's gonna happen if you become self-aware, like you're some like Terminator 2 kind of thing.
It's even when you write your show bio and you go, like, because you write it 6 months before the actual show happens, and you're like, I don't address any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just
My
make
agent
sure.
wrote my last one for me, and I'm a bit like, oh, I feel like I'm having to stick to this now because I was like, if I write it myself, I'm going to just freak out about it and just be like, oh, I'm funny sometimes, I've done all right before. And then she wrote it for us. And then now I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm supposed to stick to these certain points. So it's a good thing, actually, because it means if the show's shit, I can just blame her.
Oh, so you actually stuck to him?
Yeah,
Oh,
she
wow.
kind of listed down with the jokes I already had. And she
Yeah.
was like, well, you're not going to drop that before the festival.
Not the dinosaur bit.
Yeah.
I'm helping doing the Comedy Zone thing, and one of the comedians, Frankie Rosenthorn, was mucking around when she was talking to the person who was writing the bio, and she's like, and I've got a porn addiction, whatever, and then mucking around or something. And in there, on her bio, on the thing says, and she deals with battling with a crippling porn addiction.
Oh my God,
like, didn't even
mortifying.
get sense any, like, it's in the fucking first.
Does
like,
it come up in a stand-up?
No, because she doesn't even talk about porn at
my
all. And then
God.
she's like, I've got to write about this. And then she goes, I've got to address it. And I was like, no one's reading the fucking poster bio. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. You don't have to deal with
Yeah.
the crippling
Everyone just
porn.
looks at like the clip. It's all about. I find it really weird when you have to sell yourself and you're thinking, have you not heard of YouTube? And if you've not heard of YouTube, I don't really want you to come to my show.
You're not welcome here.
Because it's like that's the only thing that everyone ever does now is if you think, oh, would I like that comedian? I'll quickly look them up. Larry Dean comedy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's ever looking at the bio. Now, Larry, gigs. You've been a comic for 10 years now?
Do we still count the COVID years?
Yes.
All right. Since 2011, I'd say.
2011,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
a lot.
do you have-
That's a long time.
Oh my
fucking-
God.
Yeah.
That's the same time. No, but the worst part is I started at 2011, and you're a lot bigger comedian than me. I need to really put my socks up.
No,
Hey. I'm sure if you went to Scotland, Bretty, Larry would have you on his...
Podcast.
I don't have
Local
a podcast,
bar.
but I'll have you. Yeah.
Could you start one for me so I don't feel like shit when I get to Scotland?
Okay, yeah.
Now, what's the worst gig you've ever had?
I've had lots of really awful gigs like the first few years because I was so bad for the
Yes.
first few years at comedy.
That's good to hear, Bretty. Did you hear that? That made you feel better?
Yeah, but I haven't got out of that bad yet.
absolutely.
Like, the first couple of years,
Yeah.
I'm still 11 years in and I'm still
Beautiful.
sucking.
No way.
And I think so I think most people have that thing, but then I never even count them because it's like a bit like, oh, that was you know when you kind of go, oh, that was me in a different era kind of thing. So there's no point of
Yes.
thinking about it. Like when it comes to bad gigs, though, they happen a lot. For me, because I'm quite harsh on myself. The one that everybody always asked me about was I got heckled on my last tour in Dundee. And basically it was a woman in the audience. I put the clip on YouTube, and basically this lady in the audience about 20 minutes into the show started walking around, like moving about and stuff, and she was like in the second row, and I went, oh, why are you moving around? And she went, oh, my dad's got cancer and he's dying, and he bought me tickets to see you because he wanted me to have a laugh. And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your dad. And she went, yeah, we're not laughing, so we're leaving.
Oh my God.
I'd rather go watch my dad die in hospital than deal one more minute of Larry Dean.
Oh,
That's awful.
So rude.
Yeah, it was like, and at the same time, my
Pretty funny though.
I know it was so
Such a
funny.
good
And at the
burn.
same time, I was, you know, when those moments happen now, especially in the last couple of years for comedians, when those moments happen now, you kind of think, oh, there's a camera at the back of the room as well. and you begin to go, I'm going to have to remember this. And then the audience was really supportive, but at the same time, I couldn't help but go, even though it's not my fault, I couldn't help but feel really guilty because I felt as if I'd let this fucking person down.
You've made her grief way worse.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, if this is the worst part of your week, man, I must be pretty fucking awful. So, then apparently she was waiting outside for me afterwards. Like,
What, to fight you?
Yeah. What? No, she was not.
Yeah, she was.
I don't think her dad had cancer. I don't think he wanted to neck himself.
No, I
if
think
this is
he
his
was.
daughter.
Yeah, I think she bashed him to death. Like that is. She didn't
So
seem
but then
very
she was
nice
angry.
at all.
Did you give her something back? Because the worst part is when you get heckled now and you have a camera on, you go,
Yeah.
fuck, I better say something good.
Yeah.
I need to go viral.
No, because the only reason why I've ever put it online was because people were asking to see it. I didn't really do a put down because I thought...
You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Because I thought, I was like, oh, well, I do feel really bad for it. And I know there's that thing of like, if someone's got a lot of emotion in them, they need to let it out somewhere. Preferably not at my gig, please,
Yeah.
everybody. But then,
No, I'm coming for a cry. I need to get some stuff out. My dad never hugged me. Thanks, Larry.
I think there was what was the thing that because I did say to the audience, I kind of had to kind of reset it afterwards, but I learned this lesson. I learned it really harshly when in the first couple of years of doing stand-up, I talked about being gay in this gig, and then this lady in the front started chatting with her husband, and then I got taught that if this is the thing I got taught after this gig was there's like levels. So if a heckler gives you a 5 out of 10 harsh heckle, give them a 5 or a 6. Never go further up the scale or down the scale.
And then not too crazy.
Exactly,
Yeah, okay,
right?
Okay,
so her talking in the front row was, I'd say probably like a 3. And then I said to her, I went, oh, why are you talking? And she went, oh, I'm just having a chat with my husband, right? Just completely like oblivious to the comedy happening around them. I think it was that at the time. And then I said, oh, that's easy. I'll just ignore you because I'm gay. I'm not interested in cunts, right? So I'd gone from a 3 up to like a 9 or a 10.
It's good though. It's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. And then everyone started booing. And then the lady at the back said, we don't say that word round here. Which is like a 3 or a 4. And then I said, well, I'm sure you've heard it a few times before, love.
You angry?
I was giving all the fucking sass that night, man. And
Jesus Christ.
And then I got booed off. That's one of the
gosh.
few, I think I've ever been booed off. No, apart from that, I don't think I've ever been booed off. So I got proper
my
booed off.
God. And was that near the start of your career?
Yeah, that was like the
Yeah.
first couple of years.
And then did you learn from that? You've never... Or you
Yeah,
just kept going?
I think that was I think that taught me a really harsh lesson of because the other comedians were really nice about it. Because well, thank God you were not on that night.
Oh, you would have heard me cackling in the back. I'd be like, hell yes. But also, I would have loved it. Yeah.
And you would have got booed off the second you walked on. They would have been like, he smells like that word.
He smells like that word. Is that you? Well, that's in the clip for the week. There you go. Fucking hell, Bron.
So about that.
One of the best ones, when you go too hard, like I love seeing it because sometimes you don't know. You're like, oh, I've gone too bad. I saw a comedian like talking again and then didn't have a joke about it and just called this person a cunt straight away. Great. And then it shut the guy up. And then about 5 minutes later, this dude was bombing so bad and the food started coming out and the guy just went and threw his face into his own meal.
What?
It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. And then only when he got off the stage, he lifted his face back off the plate.
Oh my God.
He was like, oh.
So he
That's
did that
great,
As in, I can't physically. This
watch
comic
this
was
guy.
bombing so bad, and it was
That
awful.
is actually awesome.
Yeah.
I've got such
love
respect
that.
for the heckler. That was
But
like
I was
really
like, his face is in this
committed.
plate for 3 minutes. I was like, is he dying? Is he dead? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh.
What a way to go.
Oh mate, I find that's like the worst heckle though is when it's only you. Like if the front row heckles, that's worse because sometimes only you get the heckle and not
no one else hears it.
Yeah, because you know, say if somebody says you're shit, and then in the back of the room everybody hears it. Everybody goes, "That's rude," and then if you say something back, that's okay. I remember I once did in my opening joke, and a guy in the front row just mouthed to me, "Shit," and I was like. Just horrified because I thought I can't really.
You're like, and it's taking your confidence, but you can't get him back because no one else knows what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
Last time you invite your dad. Okay.
I think those were that fucking what's it called? We're going trauma therapy now. That fucking gig when I got booed off, it's probably scared me so much. I've been really harsh on hecklers because. A lot of the time what happens now is other audience members now have to handle the heckler for me because I think, if I go too harsh here, that's going to ruin the whole gig. Some guy was on his phone the whole gig. I've got a video footage of this and I've not uploaded it yet. Some guy was on his phone at the front the whole gig, and when I was on, I kind of tried to address it or chat to him, whatever, and he just ignored me on his phone. And the woman next to him, right, because you know it's like those gigs that you've got like the stage and then one side and then at the front. He was at the front and then she was at the side.
Oh, so because you could see him.
Yeah. And she just leaned over and the whole audience could hear, and she went, "I think you're being incredibly rude right now and I think you should leave."
Yes.
And she got the security for me. I felt so like the bullied kid in school, man. I'm like, my mum's gonna stand up for me. I don't need you guys.
Larry, continue with your beautiful jokes. Thank you.
Tell us about bumming and dinosaurs.
And back to regular programming. Anal and dinosaurs. What else is there?
My strategy at the moment is if they say a heckle that's so mean,
cry?
Yeah.
That's how you would win. You just start crying.
No, I just say the heckle back to them. So it was this. I did this dreadful gig in Adelaide, where it was like to a bunch of like amateur basketball players. I don't know why I was there.
What?
I don't know. I finished.
Was
my
it during
gig.
the Fringe?
Yeah, I finished my show, and then someone said, "Oh, can you just come and do just 20 minutes at this?" It was like a cricket club. I went, yeah, fine. And I got there. It was well paid, so I was like, yeah, absolutely. I got there. I walked in. I hadn't asked for any information about this gig. I just like cricket clubs, probably just like old people like raising money for this cricket club. I walk in and it's about 100 teenagers, and I was like, okay, that is not my demographic. But I went, okay, that's fine. I get on stage and there's a guy from America, like this teenager from America who obviously hated female comedians. And you know when you, as a female comedian, you know when you get on stage and you can just, like someone just changes because they're like, here we go. Let her have a go. You know, like, so his physicality changed. Everyone else was fine. So I kind of made fun of him up top. And then that made him hate me even more. And so he was so cranky. And then I mentioned a joke about, I said, I stayed with my in-laws recently. And he went, as if she's married. And I just stopped. Like, it wasn't even, like, it wasn't clever. It was just like he was searching for something, and that was the one he hung on to. So I just stopped the whole thing. I said, sorry, because some people hadn't heard it. I went, sorry. What'd you say? And all the teenagers, when they feel like another teenager's getting in trouble, it's the best. Yeah,
but also you're a teacher, so you're used to fucking destroying someone. You know?
He goes, I just said, as if you're married. And I said, as if I'm married. And I did, like, I don't even know where I was going with it, but I just said it that many times. I said, what do you mean? And he went, I'm going to the toilet. And then he stood up and he left. And and he didn't come back in because he was so embarrassed because what he said was so shit. And he was trying so hard to make me feel like crap. And I just said what he said about 5 or 6 times.
When I saw you just re-say that then, if I was him, I would not fucking come back either. You scared the fuck out of me. As if I'm married. I'm like, sorry, Bron, sorry.
Because usually the wimps as well, and they're wimps and they don't actually, once they get the attention, it's a bit like, if you make them feel small about themselves, they will fuck off to the toilet. Yeah. I'm glad you clarified it though, because when you said I just repeat what the heckler said, I thought as if when he goes, as if she's married, as if you're going, as if you're married.
I think I prefer that better.
That's actually pretty good. I know you
No,
are said you
you're
are,
a
what am I?
fuckhead. Yeah.
No, just the worst heckle though is like the subtle one, which is like the phone. I had a lady in my front row last year who, right in the end, and we were talking about this earlier. Sometimes there's a serious bit in the show, and I had about a minute of like a serious moment. And in this serious moment, this woman is the worst audience member. She got her phone out. And the whole thing lit up. So the whole front row lit up. Everyone in the front row kind of look over to see this light. And her phone wasn't on silent, so she was texting.
Oh my God.
And because she was a bit older, it was so huge. So I could see her writing, "It's about to finish. I'll meet you at the RSL." And I was like, oh my God. But you can't say anything because it's the end of the show and you don't want to be like, "Excuse me, are you on your..." And she's old. So you have to be like, "I just have to wear this. You motherfucker."
Yeah, and also, and weird, it makes us look as if we're the ones being
rude.
Precious?
Yeah, because we're kind of being like, "Excuse me, I'm talking."
Get your phone.
I mean, it might be
Out of my
confusing. The
vision.
light's on me. There's a poster of me out the front. You paid $37, but this is actually, for once, about me. My brother came to one of my shows, my first solo show in Perth with his mates, and one of them passed out on the way into the venue, like fell out because he was maggot. And then they were kind of play fighting during the show. And then he got bored, so he just yelled out, because he knew obviously some of my material. So he was just yelling out my punchlines before I got to
No.
him.
Oh my God.
That is horrible.
Horrible. And then my dad was sitting in the front row. My other cousin was in the back row. And then they kind of... It was just fucking chaos. It was my first show or second show in Perth. And it was the worst. Like, I drank a straight bottle of Jameson after it. I was like, I fucking want to die. This is
It's
awful.
like one of the most white trash stories you've ever told.
I know.
Yeah.
But my brother was like, how fun was that? We loved it. And then Dad was like, that's my favourite gig I've ever seen. Because Dad sat in the front row going, this will distract him. And I'm there and he sits there just staring at me. And I'm like, what is fucking wrong with my family?
It's white trash. You can't trust them.
Can't.
You can't. Larry, you
Did
have...
he park the house out the front as well?
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I was living in a caravan a couple of months ago. Things were not going well for Brett 4 months ago, but I've got a house now, and it doesn't have wheels. Nice.
That's very cool. Very cool. Larry, you have been a comedian for a really long time, but before you were a comedian, did you have a job?
Yeah, I've had a few jobs. So I worked in a pub, pretty normal job.
Yep.
I was a pizza delivery boy.
We've had a few, actually. A few
Really?
pizza.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
reckon
it's quite a
you'll be
common
our
one.
third pizza delivery boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Were you
people-
very good at it?
I was pretty awful at it, to be fair. I think though the thing it was, I wasn't really that fast a driver, but it was mainly just the places I would be going in Glasgow and stuff, and like the people I worked with, they were so harsh on each other. And I was only 17, 18 when I joined, and all the other drivers were like 35, 40. I think most of them were just doing it because you got a free pizza at the end of the night, to be fair. But when I was doing it, I learned a lot, probably more about stuff that I shouldn't have learnt about.
You would have I would assume, I don't know too much about Glasgow, but you would have seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, we used to like to go up the...
What do you mean? Sorry, I don't want to be racist, but you come from a
to
pretty
me,
shit
Glasgow's
place.
a rough place.
It used to be much more than it is now. It's quite nice now. But we used to have they used to call them like cities in the sky. So it'd be like really high-rise flats and stuff. And you'd have to go up there. And what would usually happen is if someone was ordering a pizza, they would say, hey, can I have a pizza, please? Can I also have... like a 6-pack of beer and a packet of cigarettes. So we'd have to then go round the corner and get them cigarettes and a 6-pack of beer, and then you'd be delivering
great.
it, and then it'd be like a 15-year-old boy being like,
Genius.
Oh yeah, it was a great way of making
Wow,
money because they'd always give you the tip, and that's what you needed because we only got £1 per delivery.
No.
Yeah, we weren't on any kind of base rate.
So
or
if you
whatever
get
like that.
someone drinking at underage, £5, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You always get a good
Pounds
tip.
per delivery. What was this, the 1950s?
So there's no base rate. It was just
mental.
it was only £1 per delivery. That's
it was. So you got £13 for a 9-hour shift, and then you get £1 per delivery.
Okay.
And then so
£13 in total for a 9-hour. No, that
it
doesn't
meant it was all off
sound
the
right.
books. So
cash.
All
That
cash, man.
doesn't-
Aye. It was.
That doesn't make any
I know exactly. I'm so bad financially. Because I realised if I was working at Domino's, I get £10 an hour plus. I'd get.
Yeah.
The
But
delivery
even
thing and
that's
the
about
tips.
you go like I'm bad at maths. So I was like cash. Nice. I was impressed by it. I was like, whoa, 13 ba-. And I don't get the conversion either. So I was like, hang on, it's $26 for 10 hours? Fuck that. Yeah.
Oh, cash.
bro.
Or hide
Cash.
hide it under the hubcap.
Cash, sir. I'm in.
So do you reckon that was your worst job? Because that sounds very bad.
Well, no, it was fun. I was really happy I did it because I
Oh.
was like,
Providing a service to the
No,
teenagers.
yeah, that was really it. It was mainly the
Ruining
banter
people's
with the banter with the other delivery drivers was good. Although I didn't even realize this is how low my self-esteem was. I think when I was 18, I didn't even realize I was getting bullied, right? Because I used to smoke then, and I got given a packet of cigarettes
Yeah.
the day on one of the shifts by one of the drivers. He went, "Oh, that's to say sorry for bullying you last night." And I was a bit like, I didn't even know I was getting bullied last night.
I thought I was a part of it. Yeah. That was probably the bullying there. Like he was actually in it, but this is for apology. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Loads of people think my worst job though is whenever I say to them, I used to be a toilet cleaner.
Oh,
And it sounds like a bad job.
Yeah.
does indeed.
But I fucking loved it, man.
Which bit about it?
So
The scrubbing brush?
yeah, it was great. You know what it is, right? So see with any other job you have to it's difficult to see the difference that you've made. So
This is a good
with
point.
A toilet
Okay,
cleaning thing,
okay.
all you need to do is clean it and then you literally see it sparkle. And then you're like, well, I've done a really
I've
good
nailed
job.
it.
Is it like when you said toilet cleaner?
I'm still haven't worked on my self-esteem issues. Give me the cigarettes now.
But is it because when I went to the UK, there was in some bathrooms there was a guy in there with all deodorants and shit.
I wasn't one of them. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Have you seen this before in like Europe
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah,
And you give them like a
there are some-
pound and they clean the toilet and.
I know. I've never understood who goes for a shit and on the way out thinks, "Oh, I could do it for a lollipop. Actually, that'd be great."
This guy, I loved it. I was like, £2 lollipop, got some deodorant, fucking Armani.
£2 lollipop, Bretty. You don't know how
I
money
did a
works.
horrific shit in there though. It was definitely a £2. It was in a nightclub.
We're not
Wasn't
even talking about money. We're talking about weight here.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
Density.
Oh, yeah. So sorry. But this topic must be right up your alley if you really like toilet cleaning. Yeah, I guess it is nice to see you make a difference.
when you see the end product. But going back to the pizza one, did you ever pick up? I always think those people would like get mad roots. I don't know why.
I thought that as well before I joined, man. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fucking porn fantasy, man."
yeah,
Someone's
like you
gonna be
open the door and fuck yeah, it's on.
extra sausage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I got
Dig through the pizza box, the classic one.
Classic.
Yeah.
I think there was a few times I could have, but there were never ones I was interested in. So some guy turned up at the shop once, and he was so pissed that he wanted a pizza, but he also wanted a taxi. So I was like, I could get a good tip here. So he got him his pizza, and then I went to give him a lift. And then while I was driving him home, he started putting his hand down my pants, and a bit of me did think, I thought, oh, 13 quid and only £1 for this thing. You know, I could do with a tip big time, man. But then he kept trying and I was like, nah, fuck it. I don't need the money that much. But then he accidentally gave me 20 quid.
Amazing.
Because he was so pissed he didn't even realise how much money he gave me. So
That's great.
he sexually assaulted me. I stole money from him. We're even. We're all right.
Yeah. If there's any police watching, we're just going to put a line through both of them. Also, we all know how low your standards are. If anyone wants to sexually assault Larry Dean, just slip him a 20.
That's it. It's very cheap. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my merch at the end.
Yeah, you get to touch it.
Yeah, after my gig, man, my merch is just fucking as if I've got a big like clown trousers. Put your hand in.
I'm loving how generous this fucking pizza delivery. Like, we'll pick up your beer, smokes, drop off a pizza, give you a lift
Yeah.
home. I'd be like, fuck off. I'm not doing any of that shit. But
Well,
I
Larry
suppose
would.
if it's tip-based economy, you got to do it.
But then if you got like Pizza Hut, Domino's, and like Papa John's to like compete with, we were a
Yeah.
bit like, well, what can we offer our customers as a service? And the
answer was underage drinking.
Yeah, underage drinking, underage smoking,
Filling
and
up.
filling up my willy.
Is that on their slogan?
Free delivery at weekends.
So it sounds like to me, Larry, that you were you've always been very placid. Like you found like the silver lining in all these jobs. This, for me, seems like you've never quit in a spectacular fashion. Is this correct? Have I read that right?
Yeah, I've never. I think I was drilled into me as a kid that you had to just keep working.
Why is that? Because were your parents really strict?
Yeah, but my dad was always like that kind of never, you can't give up thing. Even though the thing of like, so my dad's
nice.
a businessman and successful, and he used to own his own company. But it's funny he's very good at putting me in my place if I need to, right? And I love him, but I remember when I was cleaning the toilets, it was actually at my dad's offices, and my brother, who's only 3 years older than me, was working in the office and a good job. And I was a bit like, that's what happens when you're not the clever son. Is go to the toilet, here's a brush, good luck.
It's really scaled, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a corner office and you've got the corner store.
Oh my gosh.
But then I don't know. I always find it weird when people quit, like really, because it's usually because of a bad boss. Whenever I hear about someone doing a big quit in a spectacular fashion, but I'm always a bit like, yeah, but you're doing a job obviously you didn't like, and the boss is now trapped in that job. They're just angry at the world, so that's why they're taking it on you. Because it's like that thing of, when. And I see comedians do it sometimes when they put other comedians down just to make themselves feel better. Yeah. And I to be fair, I much prefer it when someone's a dick to your face. When the boss is a dick, because you think, oh, now I can definitely do it, as long as other people see it, not from the front row, obviously. But then,
and don't whisper it either, because it bugs me.
Yeah. But I think the bitching in workplaces is always the thing that would stress me out, and that's why I really wanted to like work on a construction site, because I thought, and that's what I probably liked about the pizza place, is they were a dick to my face, and I thought at least I can play it off as banter.
Like every every construction site, pretty obvious because they're yelling at you or whatever. The one that does scare me is like just the gossip, the bitching, because you can't control that, and then all of a sudden everyone fucking hates you, or you don't even know what you've done, you can't address it. That scares the fuck out of me.
And also you come across as mental if you have to go around the office and tell everybody that wasn't.
I didn't do that. It wasn't me. Yeah.
Because it's always so subtle. I did actually work in an office for a couple of months, and me and my mate went to Pizza Hut. A lot of these stories are pizza related for some reason. But we went to Pizza Hut, and it was like
on this podcast for some reason. Yep.
It was like an all-you-can-eat buffet for like a tenner. So we were like, let's just fucking stuff our faces. Came back in the afternoon, and then we were all kind of like tired because we've ate a lot of pizza. And then the office started a rumor about like how we were overeaters. I'm just like, that's so different from eating too much to overeating. I was like, that sounds like a medical problem.
Yeah. And were you this size?
No, I was a big guy, man.
Were you?
Yeah.
I can't
imagine that.
I was a big
really?
guy.
So that's definitely bullying. So the challenge.
Yeah, but this is like 15, 20 years ago. Wasn't the same. Was it 15 years ago?
But overeater, like who isn't? Like what? That's such a strange rumor.
Yeah. But then it makes me look even more pathetic by going, yeah, but it was 10 quid. I got so much for my money.
What was I meant to do? I had to cave into my addiction.
And I just got 20 quid for a man touching me. I had to spend it. I was burning a hole in my pocket.
Buffets.
Overeater. Oh, well, that's, if that's what you're going to get bullied about, that's fine. You should hear the things that Brett's bullied about. Oof.
Oh, I'm hearing them on this podcast.
You heard him before the podcast when Bron was bullying me. I fucking was trying to hit the record button so everyone else could.
It's just so easy. It's just so easy. So have you seen anyone quit in a spectacular fashion? I love when someone quits in a spectacular fashion. Like flips a table, tells the boss to go fuck themselves. Bretty's done it heaps of times. I think that's his trademark. He'll do it before the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll push him one more thing, one more nasty thing.
Yeah, but you're not my boss though. You're my equal.
Oh.
Sorry, ma'am.
Don't say that.
I'm just going to go to the toilet and not come back. Fucking hell.
I don't think. No, I've never. Oh. It's usually people just don't turn up anymore. Oh yeah. I think a lot of the people in the pizza place, the delivery drivers and stuff, they just stop turning up, and it's almost like it's like that kind of breakup you have when you're in your teens. You just kind of stop messaging back rather than actually just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, I think probably the closest I came to like flipping out at the pizza place people was I was driving to a delivery, and a guy, when a road's thin and you have to kind of give way or whatever. Mm-hmm. So this guy had to give way to me quite quickly because I was driving pretty fast. Oh. And then he rolled down his window because the back of his car was far enough out that I couldn't just get past easy. rolled down his window, and then called me all the swear words under the sun. And then I always remember my mum telling me, if someone's giving you road rage, just be really happy. So I smiled at him and went, thank you, right? And then, which annoyed him even more. It is the worst thing to do. My favourite one to do now is when someone shouts at me in road rage, I just go, does this mean we can't be friends anymore? So it gets them even more riled up. And the way my mum pointed out to me, though, she was like, yeah, but then other people just see someone shouting at someone smiling, and you think, why is that person being so mean to that really happy man? So I went back to the shop after doing my delivery, and the guy was waiting outside the shop.
Oh, fuck.
Bit of advice, if you ever are going to wind somebody who's very aggressive up, don't be wearing the jacket with the logo of the place that you work at. So he was waiting outside the shop for me. It's so dumb. So he waited outside the shop for me, and this guy...
Were you still smiling when you walked up to him?
No, I was like... I was getting my cigarette out of me. And so he walked up to us and he was like, oh, so you're not so tough now without your car, right? Which, funnily enough, weirdly, as soon as he said, you're not so tough without your car now, I thought, that's a kindergarten cop quote. But then he then started shouting at me, and I was like, oh, it's fine. Because my way of defending myself, and it's so bad when you have to get into nuances of like road, like if you have to go to the highway code when you're like in an argument, you're already losing. But the guy was like, you're going way too fast, and it was a 20, and I was probably going about 30, but the 20 in the UK has a green circle around it, which means it's optional. So I said, it's only optional, which makes me sound even more pratty.
Worse.
So he punched me, but didn't punch me like that. Punched me with like that bit there.
Oh.
So like up in the face like that.
Ow.
And then when he did that, I thought, if I punch him back, this is going to be like a full square go. And I thought, I don't want to have like a big rammy happening in the pizza shop or whatever. So I said, what you've just done is actually illegal.
Incredible. I love you. You're just full of rules.
Yeah.
I know every rule.
So
somehow he's been hit and now he's a lawyer. Yeah. Actually, it's a suggestion.
Yeah, camera cuts back to me and I'm now wearing like a full suit. That's illegal. And I pointed out where the CCTV was and that, and there wasn't any CCTV. But if you point in a corner somewhere, then they usually think.
Very clever.
So then he went into the shop, and then he said, "Where does that guy live?" And
Jesus,
proper escalation, man. The guy behind the shop was like, "I don't actually have like any of his, what's it called? I don't have his address." And then because he was scared of the guy as well.
I would if I could.
Yeah. He's like, "I don't have the guy's address," and he went, "Do you not have his like his pay slip?" And they're like, "Oh no, they all get paid in cash." See, it does come in handy.
Yeah. See, £13 ain't looking too bad now.
You popped in and said it's actually illegal. Yeah.
And then he left, and I was really pissed off, right? Because I'm pretty big, right? I'm like 6'1" right? And I was the smallest guy in this shop. It was literally like lumberjacks, man.
Weird.
And none of them stood up. Like none of them were like, "Oh, fuck off, mate," or whatever. Even just when a big guy's there, all they need to do is just stand there.
Yeah.
And we people tend to go, "Oh, I know my place."
Yeah.
And especially if the guy punches that easy. I always think every single man needs to be punched at some point in their life.
Really?
Couldn't agree
Genuinely.
more.
Really?
Yeah, you need to know.
Oh my god.
Oh,
What
and I
do
bet you
mean?
you probably know people that haven't been punched.
Yeah,
and
you
think,
can pick
one
someone who's
day.
ever been punched. Everyone needs to be punched
Really?
because then it's
But,
you
for
know
a
where the
reason?
fucking line is, and
But
you go
what
like,
was your line? But you did nothing wrong and you got punched.
Oh,
Not in
come
that
on.
case.
I mean, I have
You
done.
smiled.
Yeah,
But,
but
so what,
it's
was
such
that
a.
the only time you've been punched?
Oh no, I've been punched loads.
Really?
Yeah.
Glasgow, you're right.
Yeah,
What a
it's-
shithole. But
Thank you.
It's probably from all the
Finally.
goading. That was probably, or why are you giving my kids cigarettes?
he's 12, he can make his own decisions.
He decided he wanted a pepperoni pizza. Pepperoni pizza means pepperoni and cigarettes.
you idiots.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I can't think of anybody I know who hasn't been punched in the face that is a nice person. As man,
Really?
all
Yeah.
men need it because
What
men
do
are
you
egos.
mean? This is really fascinating to me because I am not a man, and I don't. I've got a son, and I'll punch someone if they punch him.
Right.
But I'm just interested. Like, will he be a better person if he gets punched?
Yeah.
Should I do it?
No, it's not. It doesn't have to come from your mum. It doesn't have to.
Okay.
I think you just because for ages you're like, well, fuck, blah blah blah, and someone knocks you out or you get drilled, and you go, yeah. Everyone has a line, and you can kind of see where their line is now, and you can go, oh, I'm about to get punched in about 10 seconds.
There's some
Now
people who
he's
just
got the
get
lawyer
bashed all
suit
the
on.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Do not punch your child.
Some people get punched in the face all the time. There's a
Yeah.
comedian who... It's a Perth comedian who is very divisive, very antagonistic, and every time he comes to Melbourne, he just gets bashed.
But he hates Melbourne. He shits on Melbourne. And last year, someone punched him in the face after a gig.
Yeah.
And then this year, there's a photo of him, and he's just been knocked out on the street. Again.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I find that weird though. Why would you get so offended about your city? It's just a city.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
Well, he hates Melbourne. He hates Melbourne comics. But
Lots
he
of
comes here and
people
he's
hate
kind of
Melbourne.
like, he's like, yeah, all these fucking whatevers. Or, I don't know.
Snowflakes.
I don't understand. But that's what that's what I wrote on his page after he got knocked out. I said, oh, did you just get KO'd by one of Melbourne's sensitive snowflakes? Brutal.
But I can't imagine he's just going to get punched forever. So do you think is the theory you get punched? It means you found the line.
Yeah.
And then you learn from that. Is
Yeah.
that the theory?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
You
some people
learn
just
you're not invincible. And I think it depends because obviously the people that get punched all the time tend to be prats, right? Nobody likes them nobody likes them anyway, or they're just doing it for the hell of it. But then there's always that thing of I think all guys have the point that they begin to get more and more and more confident, and then they think they can do whatever, and then 90% of the guys will have that, and then that's when you need a good punch in the face.
It's kind of like
Got it.
scaling you as well. You're like, oh, I'm the best. Oh, fuck this. I'll just keep doing that. And you get punched in the head, and you're like, oh, no, I'm back down here. It's like a leveler, you know?
How many times have you been punched, Bretty?
Oh, man, I've been punched so many fucking times.
I've never been
a bit of
punched.
drill comes out.
Yeah. Have a look at me. I got
Eyes going all over the joint.
Which one of you four people are speaking to me?
Yeah.
Man, I've been knocked out a few times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you deserved it?
Yeah, fucking oath I did. Sometimes I didn't, but a lot of the times I'm like, I can see their point.
But I can't see, I can't see the point in yours though.
That example of it isn't a good one because Larry didn't do anything to deserve that. That's
you
not a
think you
scalable
did?
punch.
You did? 'Cause
I
he
think
smiled?
because I was goading, because I was proper goading him, and also I was driving on his street at an insanely high speed,
Wow,
and I
that's
was thinking, and
very
also.
big of you.
He's a fucking dick. All right, I would have
Yeah,
beat
great.
the shit out of him if I could.
I hate him.
But there's been other times, obviously, with my brother's punched me before. Oh, but my brother was someone that for when he was growing up was totally you need a good punch, mate, and he didn't get a punch, but he got a threat that I could just see him wither, and I was like, yeah, that's what you want, man, because he bumped into a guy. It was so obvious that my brother was in the wrong, and then my brother went, do I watch where you're going? And you know those wee guys who are usually in tracksuits, and then they have a complete psycho change of
Yes.
I've been doing jiu-jitsu for fucking 40 years, man. You're gonna die. So he had a psycho change, and he just went right up to my brother and go, "What the fuck are you gonna do about it?" And my brother, I've never seen him walk away so quickly, man.
Sprint.
Yeah, just can't play.
God, I
Never been knocked out though. I find it weird when you
That's
say they've been knocked out.
Yeah, knocked out. I've told this story before because I got knocked out. 3 of my mates all got knocked out at the same time, and I woke
What?
up with someone else's shoes on.
Was this one guy that did the 3 at the same
I've told
time?
this on the Dinosaur Club or whatever. So what happened was my mate, this is a rough pub in Perth called the Mullaloo Tavern. And this guy and my mate got into a fight in the pub, and my mate kind of won the fight. The bouncers kicked the guy out who started it, who lost, and let my mate stay in there. So there's 4 or 5 of us guys. When we about an hour later, we leave the club, and there's this big stairway that goes down. And my mate's just slightly in front of me, and I'm walking out, and this guy just runs out of nowhere and just king hits him from behind.
Oh.
And he just goes rigor mortis, just down, but he falls flat on his face and then starts kind of falling down the stairs. So in that motion of walking that he did that, I ran and punched him and knocked him out.
Oh.
And then I was like, fuck, that was a good one. I really fucking ruined his day. But then I got knocked out by his mate. Then my mate knocked him out.
Oh my
so there was
God.
3 guys on the floor. But then when I kind of came to, I was like, by the time I realized where I was running. But what had happened is because I was running there was cops there, but when you get knocked out, it takes you like about a minute or two to actually start remembering and processing things. So I've got knocked out into this railing and it's flicked my shoes off. And it's the other guy who's got knocked out as well. Somehow his shoes are coming off. So I just grabbed 2 pairs of shoes. I thought they were mine because I was running from the cops, and I'm just running, and I got like size 7 feet, but I'm running in like size 11 sneakers. Like boots, and I'm like, what the fuck? These aren't even my fucking shoes.
Tactically, that's really good though, because you've left him with the shoes that are way too small for him. So he has to like tiptoe.
I never thought about that. Yeah, he can't
yeah.
put his shoes on to catch and chase me down. But I woke up and I was like, why are these shoes so fucking big? I was like, I couldn't understand it, and then I was like, oh, we all pieced together. It's like maybe your shoes came off and. I don't understand it.
See, I love this story because it just makes me so happy to be a woman.
Oh mate, I know.
I don't get many moments like this.
Really?
And there's no
yeah.
obligation. If like, what's it called? The obligation feeling of my mate has been punched.
Yeah.
I have to do something about it. I hate it so much. It doesn't happen very much, but
you'd hope not.
when it does, it's like, like I remember I was outside in the smoking out at the front of this club, and I was with my pal. Well, it wasn't really like a mate, but the kind of thing of not really close. Like he's only there because another one of my mates who is actually close to him is there, and there's a big group of guys, but they were all inside. Somebody walked out the pub, punched him in the face, and then all his teeth, you just saw teeth
Oh
go.
no!
And so my mates, the guy's like screaming, and then I just remember like the guy running away. When I punched him. And I really remember the feeling, and I just sighed. I just went, and then I had to run after the guy, and then run up to the guy, and then punch him in the face. But it'd been years since I'd been in a fight. I was so bad, man. It was like it was so awful, and I kept doing it, thinking, I don't even know that guy. He probably was a dick to you. He probably deserved it, but I've got to do this because I'm the only mate that was
did
there.
he punch you back? Because it sounded like his
No.
punch was wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love in both these stories, you've both subtly bragged about how cool you are at fighting.
Do you want to hear it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Pretty tough.
Wildly
I just told you a
unimpressive
story
to
about
me.
how I got knocked out, and the other
But
one
you
I got
punched a guy
punched.
out.
Well,
That's very cool,
You-
Bretty. Well
I
done.
I used to work at an electronics shop, Dick Smith, which we talked about, which is hilarious because I don't know anything about electronics.
Yeah.
But this is one time I got told to go home because the night before I went to the casino and this guy punched me in the fucking eye. And I ended up getting in the fight with him. We both got kicked out of the casino. But they take you out of the 2 different exits, and I know where they both are because I've been kicked out of the casino multiple times. And so I ran back down to go fight the guy again. And then, oh yeah, it was his. I beat this guy up, that's right. And his mate jumped over and punched me in the eye. Good friend, fair enough. But my mate should have stopped him. My mate didn't do shit. And then we went down the car park. The same thing happened again. His mate leant over and punched me in the other eye. I had 2 panda eyes that I couldn't see out of because they were swollen. And then I rocked up to work the next day because I drove to work and I could barely fucking see. And then I get to work and he's like, do you think you're working like that? And I was like, yeah, I got to do my shift. And he's like, go home. And it took me like and then they got worse. And I think for like 2 days, I couldn't really see. They were just so
man.
inflamed.
Oh, did you go back to JB Hi-Fi and bash him?
No, I
That's
didn't.
weird. Because
I
that
learnt my-
seems like the
I learnt my
natural state
lesson.
of this story.
But
So I bashed everyone.
Before we were like, yeah, punching and then you learn. Like in this story, I don't think I've learned
No,
anything.
probably not, man. This,
Yeah.
No, by the way, if
think-
anyone punched you guys, if I was sitting here and someone came over and punched you, I'd do nothing.
Really?
I'd say, hey, don't do that.
Oh no, you got to do
Oh,
something.
gotta do
what
something.
would I punch them?
But that's
Scream.
18-year-old Brett.
scream.
Scream, yeah. Do that.
Yell out, right? Anything. Whatever stops it.
I'd say, hey, that's not nice. But then if you guys were together, everyone would get bashed. All 3 of you.
Oh,
all
yeah,
three
Yeah,
man.
but
of
we're not
you.
good. We'd probably lose.
When we hang out, it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's like Tekken.
Yeah. Have you seen the Mighty Ducks? We're the Bash Brothers. Yeah. We just go around smashing
my
people.
God.
Festival club. We're throwing them down the stairs.
I think it's good to just give people a look that you could fight. I think that's the
Really?
The idea that you can fight is
Well,
scarier.
I guess this comes down to what we'll talk about at the start, the heckle. When someone heckles you and you just have a very like a subtle way to approach it, either with silence or just repeating what they've said, is far more effective than like being the psycho who goes, guess what, you're a cunt. Because then you are the psycho. But if you are the person who's just giving the look like, I could fight you and I would win.
Yeah, yeah.
but
It's
I'm
just the
not
kind
going
of
to,
that
much
thing
stronger.
of it's not gonna affect me. That's the vibe you want to give off. So it's a bit like if someone's threatening you physically, then you want to just be like, okay, try it, and you know, I mean, it's inner confidence, but it's the same. But the problem is in doing the fucking stand up when someone heckles, you're too busy thinking about, oh, what's the next bit I'm supposed to do after this or whatever like that. Or I can't punch everybody in this.
There's probably could.
No,
he'd try.
There's a guy in Armidale he goes, man, if you ever get into a fight, the first thing you do is you break a beer bottle over your head because no one wants to fight crazy.
See what I mean? White trash. Larry, don't take any
just
of
knock
these
yourself
tips.
out.
No, but the thing is, I saw him do it. It's like bang, and then I was like, I don't think you can do it. So
No.
me and my mate we were mad at one night. I was like, let's see if we can do it. And I just woke up with 3 big lumps on my head. It was and he's like, it was a Corona bottle. It was so dense. I was like, it doesn't even work. We were training.
But you know, it's not the head bit, it's the broken bottle. If someone was if I was wanting to fight someone and then they broke a glass bottle on the bar and they've got a glass bottle in their hand, I'd be like, I'm not fighting.
So the head's unnecessary.
Brett.
I should tell him.
Oh, I remember there
He's
was
dead.
He's dead now.
my
There's
mate's.
no way he's alive.
I remember my mate's dad was like a gang leader, and basically he used to say, and this is how like mental some people in Glasgow used to be, but he used to say, people always say it's like you're a coward if you use a weapon, and he's like, no, it's the opposite. You're brave if you use a weapon, because think of how like scary it's gonna be if you end up in jail. So he was just always about weapons and that. I actually think a lot of my mates' dads were absolute psychos, man. Like air rifles and really weird.
I was like, from listening to your stories, both of your stories today, like I'm from Wagga. Some of my cousins have married each other, and between you two, I feel like the poshest person alive.
I'm glad we gave you that feeling.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm riding on cloud 9. I don't know. I'll break into a car after this and still feel like I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right, because those two psychos.
It's just
And the police will get you and be like, put your hands up, and you'll be like, you put your hands up.
Put my hands up. I'm just going to say what you've said a number of times till you go to the toilet. Okay, Larry, Dean, thank you. So I've learned a lot. I've learned.
So have I.
I'm
never fucking with him. That's one thing. That's one thing.
No, I've lost all the fights, Larry. I'm an easy win.
Bretty in the corner just smashing a beer bottle.
I like
on
my
his
shoes.
head.
I don't want to get rid of my shoes.
Oh, this has been such a treat. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Man, we
coming.
really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, and
This
you,
is really fun.
how much longer are you in the country for?
Until like the end of the first week, like 7th of May or something like that.
7th of May. Okay,
Yeah.
This
great.
comes out next week, so make sure you go see Larry Dean's show. What's the show called this year?
Dodger.
Dodger.
Yeah.
Is that anything to do with fighting?
No,
Dodging
no,
weed?
actually, no, it could be, yeah, but it's no, it's because I chat about my granny and bits of it. Obviously, bear in mind, my agent has wrote the bio of what I'm doing, so
I don't know what it's about.
yeah, I can't be judged on my show. But the it's called Dodger because I talk about my granny and I also talk about Elvis at a point, and Elvis used to call his granny Dodger. That's it. I always just go with one word things.
Yeah, great.
I've
same.
never gone over a fucking show title though. That's actually easy to say in a Scottish accent that Australians can be like, oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
Was it your one the other year crippled me was like Fudnut?
Oh, Fudnut.
Fudnut. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it was a
Did you
Fud
smash
is a
his head in
penis.
Yeah, I've got a lot of head trauma. Yeah.
Might have to edit that out. But the Fudnut is a fud is your penis and your nut is your head. So it's a penis head.
Like a dickhead.
Yeah, so this is the first time I've done a show that hasn't had like a secret swear word. Because Bampot is a dick and Fandan is a fanny. So my shows usually before have all been about swear words. And Dodger is nice and clean.
It's about a nan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's beautiful. Well,
And if you have any more questions, please message my agent at...
She'll tell you what it's about. Larry Dean is in the country till the 7th of May. We are so glad that he's joined us today. Thank you, Larry Dean, for coming
Thanks for
in.
having us, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye. I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets.